What if the Forbidden City in Beijing was actually a giant energy circuit? This sounds absolutely insane, but if it were true, the entire history of human civilization would be completely rewritten. Everything we believe about ancient Chinese engineering and spiritual reverence would be nothing more than a cover story for a technological marvel of unimaginable power. For centuries, historians, architects, and millions of visitors have walked through its majestic gates, marveling at the sheer scale, the intricate feng shui, and the profound symbolism. Yet they might have all been missing the most crucial, mind-boggling detail. The entire complex is not a palace, but a machine. It could be the greatest secret humanity has ever overlooked. Imagine, for a moment, standing on the central axis, not as a tourist, but as an engineer. You are in a world where the Forbidden City's massive layout is not dictated by the hierarchy of imperial power, but by the laws of physics. The walls, those impossibly thick, towering barriers of brick and stone, aren't just for defense. They are conduits running with a pulsating, unseen current. The sheer weight of historical and architectural analysis suddenly shifts. This isn't about the Ming and Qing dynasties. It's about precursor technology. The very genesis of this structure, shrouded in myth and the deliberate destruction of repose, begins to look suspicious. Why such precise orientation along the north-south axis? Historians say it's cosmological, aligning the Emperor, the Son of Heaven, with the Polaris star. But what if it's geophysical, a mechanism to harness the Earth's magnetic field, or perhaps a telluric current? The foundation itself, composed of compacted earth and massive stone slabs, is unlike typical construction. It suggests a grounding plate or a massive capacitor base. We are told the yellow glazed tiles symbolize the Emperor, the Earth, and the center of the world. But look closer. These tiles are made with specific mineral compositions, fired at precise temperatures. Are they simply decorative, or are they piezoelectric resonators, capable of converting immense pressure like that exerted by the very mass of the buildings into an electrical charge? The sheer repetition of the architectural elements, the thousands of gates, pillars, and courtyards, is usually explained as reverence for symmetry. But this repetition, especially the use of certain woods and metals in the structural framework, could be forming a periodic array, a massive circuit board designed to amplify and distribute energy across the compound. Consider the Hall of Supreme Harmony.
Please initiate system startup
the tallest
sequence
and
now.
most significant building. It sits atop 3 marble terraces, an arrangement universally seen as purely symbolic. Yet, from a scientific perspective, this tiered structure, often covered in bronze incense burners, forms a lightning rod system that's suspiciously robust. Instead of merely protecting the building, what if this structure is designed to attract and capture atmospheric electrical energy? On a massive scale, the elaborate network of drainage channels that crisscrosses the entire city is another anomaly. They are designed for efficient water runoff, yes, but their perfect geometry and the heavy stone lining suggest they might also function as a liquid-cooled network for dissipating the enormous heat generated by a continuous energy flow. The hypothesis gains chilling depth when we link it to the ancient myths and texts that predate the Forbidden City's construction. Chinese cosmology is rife with mentions of a cosmic breath or Qi-Kai, an all-pervasive life force. We dismiss these as mere philosophy. But what if Qi was the ancients' word for a form of zero-point energy, or an undiscovered form of terrestrial power? The imperial dragon, the central motif, is not just a symbol of power in many myths. The dragon is associated with water, clouds, and electricity. Could the elaborate dragon carvings and reliefs, specifically those made of bronze, be acting as antennas or collectors for this atmospheric or cosmic energy? This radical perspective suggests a convergence of the scientific and the mythical. Perhaps the builders weren't just skilled masons, they were geomancers engineers, capable of tuning the structure to the Earth's natural frequencies. The very rituals performed in the city, the measured movements, the placement of altars, the resonating gongs and belsel might have been a form of system calibration, a human-scale interaction designed to maintain the energy circuit stability. If the Forbidden City is an energy circuit, its impact on the natural world would be profound. On Earth, this immense power plant would subtly modulate the local climate, perhaps explaining the consistently benign weather often associated with the imperial capital. The subterranean currents of energy could have a stabilizing effect on the region's geological stability, effectively taming the Earth beneath the capital, or perhaps, conversely, causing subtle, controlled seismic activity for a purpose we cannot comprehend. The concentration of this energy might even influence the local ecosystem, leading to anomalous growth or unusual animal behavior, interpreted historically as omens. Societally, the effects would be catastrophic and sublime. If this power source were active, imagine the technological leap for the civilization that controlled it. Perhaps the legendary precision of ancient Chinese clockwork, or the unexplained power behind certain ancient military feats, was powered by this centralized energy grid. But conversely, the socio-political implications are chilling. The emperor's absolute power would not just be divine mandate, it would be technological control. The Forbidden City would be the literal heart of power, granting the ruler not just spiritual, but actual, tangible control over a vast, untapped energy reserve. Religious doctrine would simply be the operating manual for a device too complex to explain to the populace, elevating the emperor to the necessary role of high priest and chief engineer. The entire societal structure and isolation, the ritual, the secrecy was engineered not for tradition, but to shield and maintain the integrity of the power source. The truth is terrifyingly simple. If the Forbidden City was a massive energy circuit, it would explain why the palace complex was deemed the center of the universe by its inhabitants. It was the center not of the spiritual universe, but the energy grid that sustained their world. Now, we come to the great unknown. If the structure was a power source, what was it for? Was it a massive communication device, capable of transmitting signals across vast distances, maybe even out into the cosmos? Were the repeating roofs and walls not just a circuit, but a massive phased array antenna? Could the power have been used to subtly influence the minds of its people, a massive, invisible psychic modulator maintaining order and devotion? Or was it, most terrifyingly, a dormant failsafe, a weapon of last resort left by a precursor civilization that vanished, leaving only this gigantic, silent machine behind? If the Forbidden City is real, if its stones pulse with an ancient, terrifying energy, then perhaps we have only just begun to touch the surface of a monumental secret. The knowledge we hold today, the history we cherish, might be nothing more than the benign, carefully constructed cover story for a truth that could shatter our understanding of human civilization. The question then becomes, if this power circuit is real, is it still active? And if it is, what is it waiting for?